5 top countries in Africa with good economies to migrate. 1. Seychelles. With approximately 95,500 inhabitants according to the 2018 census, Seychelles drives most of its economic growth through tourism. This has been gradually moving the country's position towards upper middle income. Seychelles HDI value for 2019 is 0.796, which put the country in the high human development category, positioning it at 67 out of 189 countries and territories. Between 2000 and 2019, Seychelles HDI value increased from 0.714 to 0.796, an increase of 11.5% since independence in 1976. Per capita output has expanded to roughly 7 times the old near-subsistence level. Growth has been led by the tourist sector, which employs about 30% of the labor force, compared to agriculture, which today employs about 3% of the labor force. Despite the growth of tourism, farming and fishing continue to employ some people, as do industries that process coconuts and vanilla. As of 2013, the main export products are processed fish 60% and non-fillet frozen fish 22%. The prime agricultural products currently produced in Seychelles include sweet potatoes, vanilla, coconuts and cinnamon. These products provide much of the economic support of the locals. Frozen and canned fish, copra, cinnamon and vanilla are the main export commodities. Tourism became a significant industry, essentially dividing the economy into plantations and tourism. Staple foods of Seychelles include fish, seafood and shellfish dishes, often accompanied with rice. Fish dishes are cooked several ways, such as steamed, grilled, wrapped in banana leaves, baked, salted and smoked. Curry dishes with rice are also a significant part of the country's cuisine. Other staples include coconut, breadfruit, mangoes and cordon fish. Dishes are often garnished with fresh flowers. Seychelles' most popular sport is basketball, which has significantly grown in popularity in the last decade. The country's national team qualified for the 2015 African Games, where it competed against some of the continent's largest countries. The tourism sector paid better, and the plantation economy could only expand so far. The plantation sector of the economy declined in prominence, and tourism became the primary industry of Seychelles. Since then, the government has moved to reduce the dependence on tourism by promoting the development of farming, fishing, small-scale manufacturing and most recently the offshore financial sector. Through the establishment of the Financial Services Authority and the enactment of several pieces of legislation such as the International Corporate Service Providers Act, the International Business Companies Act, the Securities Act, the Mutual Funds and Hedge Fund Act, amongst others. Seychelles' culture and society is an eclectic mix of French, British, and African influences, with more recent infusions of Chinese and Indian elements. The Seychelles has a diverse and upcoming group of artists who draw inspiration from the islands around them. Painters have traditionally been inspired by Seychelles' natural features to produce a wide range of works in media ranging from watercolors to oils, acrylics, collages, metals, aluminium, wood, fabrics, gouache, varnishes, recycled materials, pastels, charcoal, embossing, etching, and clay prints. Local sculptors produce fine works in wood, stone, bronze and cartonnage. Music and dance have always played prominent roles in Seychelles culture and local festivities. Rooted in African, Malagasy and European cultures, music characteristically features drums such as the tambour and tam-tam, and simple string instruments. The violin and guitar are relatively recent foreign imports which play a prominent role in contemporary music.
Global rank, 62, life expectancy, 73.7 years, expected years of schooling, 14, mean years of schooling, 9.5, gross national income per capita, 26,077.
Global rank, 62, life expectancy, 73.7 years, expected years of schooling, 14, mean years of schooling, 9.5. 2. Mauritius. After gaining its independence in 1968, Mauritius has managed to greatly improve and stabilize its economy. With its 1.3 million multicultural inhabitants, the country is considered as one of the most promising countries in Africa. Mauritius HDI value for 2019 is 0.804, which put the country in the very high human development category, positioning it at 66 out of 189 countries and territories. Between 1990 and 2019, Mauritius HDI value increased from 0.624 to 0.804, an increase of 28.8%. The economy of Mauritius is a mixed developing economy based on agriculture, exports, financial services, and tourism. Since the 1980s, the government of Mauritius has sought to diversify the country's economy beyond its dependence on just agriculture, particularly sugar production. With a well-developed legal and commercial infrastructure and a tradition of entrepreneurship and representative government, Mauritius is one of the developing world's most successful democracies. The economy has shown a considerable degree of resilience, and an environment already conducive to dynamic entrepreneurial activity has moved further toward economic freedom. A transparent and well-defined investment code and legal system have made the foreign investment climate in Mauritius one of the best in the region. Taxation is competitive and efficient. The economy is increasingly diversified, with significant private sector activity in sugar, tourism, economic processing zones, and financial services, particularly in offshore enterprises. Mauritius is a major tourist destination, and the tourism sector is the fourth contributor to the Mauritian economy. The island nation enjoys a tropical climate with clear warm sea waters, beaches, tropical fauna and flora complemented by a multi-ethnic and cultural population. The forecast of tourist arrivals for the year 2019 is maintained at 1,450,000, representing an increase of 3.6% over the figure of 1,399,408 in 2018. The culture of Mauritius involves the blending of several cultures from its history, as well as individual culture arising indigenously. The cuisine of Mauritius is a blend of African, French and other European cuisines, as well as Chinese and Indian influences. It is common for a combination of cuisines to form part of the same meal. The public holidays of Mauritius involve the blending of several cultures from Mauritius's history. There are Hindu festivals, Christian festivals, Chinese festivals, and Muslim festivals. There are 15 annual public holidays in Mauritius. All the public holidays related to religious festivals have dates that vary from year to year except for Christmas. Other festivals such as Holi, Raksha Bandhan, Durga Puja, Parlival pilgrimage also enrich the cultural landscape of Mauritius. The distinctive architecture of Mauritius reflects the island nation's history as a colonial trade base connecting Europe with the East. Styles and forms introduced by Dutch, French, and British settlers from the 17th century onward, mixed with influences from India and East Africa, resulted in a unique hybrid architecture of international historic, social, and artistic significance. Mauritian structures present a variety of designs, materials, and decorative elements that are unique to the country and inform the historical context of the Indian Ocean and European colonialism. Global rank, 66, life expectancy, 74.9, expected years of schooling, 15.1 mean years of schooling, 9.3, gross national income per capita, 20,189. 3. Algeria. Algeria has a population of an estimated 44 million, of which the vast majority are Arab Berber ethnically. At the outset of the 20th century, its population was approximately 4 million. About 90% of Algerians live in the northern, coastal area. The inhabitants of the Sahara Desert are mainly concentrated in oases, although some 1.5 million remain nomadic or partly nomadic. Human Development Index, HDI, in Algeria was reported at 0.711 HDI in 2011. Algeria, Human Development Index, HDI, actual values, historical data, forecasts and projections were sourced from the World Bank on January of 2022. Algeria is a major player in the MENA region and has achieved a remarkable feat by reducing poverty by 20% in the past 2 decades. The largely positive economic performance of the country has improved development and greatly contributed to socio-economic stability. The economy remains very dependent on hydrocarbon wealth, and, despite high foreign exchange reserves, $178 billion, equivalent to 3 years of imports, current expenditure growth makes Algeria's budget more vulnerable to the risk of prolonged lower hydrocarbon revenues. Public spending has increased by 27% annually during the past 5 years. The 2010-14 public investment program will cost $286 billion, 40% of which will go to human development. Modern Standard Arabic and Berber are the official languages. Algerian Arabic, Darya, is the language used by the majority of the population. Although French has no official status in Algeria, it has one of the largest francophone populations in the world. And French is widely used in government, media, newspapers, radio, local television, and both the education system from primary school onwards and academia due to Algeria's colonial history. It can be regarded as a lingua franca of Algeria. In 2008, 11.2 million Algerians could read and write in French. Modern Algerian literature, split between Arabic, Tamazight, and French, has been strongly influenced by the country's recent history. Chabi music is a typically Algerian musical genre characterized by specific rhythms and of qasida, popular poems, in Arabic dialect. Modern music is available in several facets. Rai music is a style typical of Western Algeria. Rap, a relatively recent style in Algeria, is experiencing significant growth. Algerian cuisine is rich and diverse. The country was considered as the granary of Rome. It offers a component of dishes and varied dishes, depending on the region and according to the seasons. The cuisine uses cereals as the main products, since they are always produced with abundance in the country. There is not a dish where cereals are not present. These cuisines varies from global rank, 85, life expectancy, 76.3, expected years of schooling, 14.4, mean years of schooling, 8.0, gross national income per capita, 13,802. 4. Tunisia. With a relatively turbulent past, Tunisia has gradually been developing into a more stable economy. The country is slowly recovering from the years of conflict and growth is steadily gaining momentum. Tunisia's economy is mainly supported by tourism, agriculture and electrical and mechanical exports. Tunisia's HDI value for 2019 is 0.740, which put the country in the high human development category, positioning it at 95 out of 189 countries and territories. The rank is shared with Maldives. Between 1990 and 2019, Tunisia's HDI value increased from 0.567 to 0.740, an increase of 30.5%. It is part of the Maghreb region of North Africa, and is bordered by Algeria to the west and southwest, Libya to the southeast, and the Mediterranean Sea to the north and east, covering 163,610 kilometers, 63,170 square miles, with a population of 11 million. It contains the eastern end of the Atlas Mountains and the northern reaches of the Sahara Desert, with much of its remaining territory arable land. Its 1,300 kilometers, 810 miles, of coastline include the African conjunction of the western and eastern parts of the Mediterranean basin. Tunisia is home to Africa's northernmost point, Cape Angela, and its capital and largest city is Tunis, located on its northeastern coast, which lends the country its name. Ranked the most competitive economy in Africa by the World Economic Forum in 2009, Tunisia is an export-oriented country in the process of liberalizing and privatizing an economy that, while averaging 5% GDP growth since the early 1990s, Tunisia was ranked the least corrupt North African country in 2016, with a score of 41. Tunisia has a diverse economy, ranging from agriculture, mining, manufacturing, and petroleum products, to tourism, which accounted for 7% of the total GDP and 370,000 jobs in 2009. In 2008 it had an economy of $41 billion in nominal terms, and $82 billion in PPP. The agricultural sector accounts for 11.6% of the GDP, industry 25.7%, and services 62.8%. The industrial sector is mainly made up of clothing and footwear manufacturing, production of car parts, and electric machinery. Although Tunisia managed an average 5% growth over the last decade.
Global rank, 95, life expectancy, 75.9, expected years of schooling, 15.1, mean years of schooling, 7.2, gross national income per capita, 10,275.
Among Tunisia's tourist attractions are its cosmopolitan capital city of Tunis, the ancient ruins of Carthage, the Muslim and Jewish quarters of Djerba, and coastal resorts outside of Monastir. Tunisia is known for its golden beaches, sunny weather and affordable luxuries. Ethnic groups in Tunisia are Arab 98%, European 1%, Jewish and other 1%. Arabic is the official language, and Tunisian Arabic, known as Tunsi, is the national, vernacular variety of Arabic used by the public. There is also a small minority of speakers of Berber languages known collectively as Jebali or Shella. Tunisian literature exists in two forms, Arabic and French. Arabic literature dates back to the 7th century with the arrival of Arab civilization in the region. It is more important in both volume and value than French literature, introduced during the French Protectorate from 1881. At the beginning of the 20th century, Musical activity was dominated by the liturgical repertoire associated with different religious brotherhoods and secular repertoire, which consisted of instrumental pieces and songs in different Andalusian forms and styles of origins, essentially borrowing characteristics of musical language. Global rank, 95, life expectancy, 75.9, expected years of schooling, 15.1, mean years of schooling, 7.2, gross national income per capita, 10,275. 5. Botswana. Botswana gained its independence in 1966, at that time, it was one of the poorest countries in the world. Yet, it quickly became an example of development success on the African continent, averaging 5% growth per annum over the past decade. The economy is mainly driven by mining, construction and the service sector. Botswana's HDI value for 2019 is 0.735, which put the country in the high human development category, positioning it at 100 out of 189 countries and territories. Between 1990 and 2019, Botswana's HDI value increased from 0.573 to 0.735, an increase of 28.3%. A mid-sized country of slightly over 2.3 million people, Botswana is one of the most sparsely populated countries in the world. About 11.6% of the population lives in the capital and largest city. It has since transformed itself into an upper-middle income country, with one of the world's fastest-growing economies. While generally open to foreign participation in its economy, Botswana reserves some sectors for citizens. Increased foreign investment plays a significant role in the privatization of state-owned enterprises. Botswana is planning to use science and technology to diversify its economy and thereby reduce its dependence on diamond mining. To this end, the government has set up 6 hubs since 2008, in the agriculture, diamonds, innovation, transport, health and education sectors. The official language of Botswana is English, although Setswana is widely spoken across the country. In Botswana, most of the ethnic groups have different ways to greet one another, but for easy communication and connection, Botswana use a 3-way handshake or just greet one another by saying dumelong as a way of saying hello without physical contact. Botswana literature belongs somewhere in the strong African literary writing circles. African literature is known for its consciousness and didactic writing styles. Writing as an art form has existed in Botswana for a long while, from the rock painting era. Botswanan cultural musical instruments are not confined only to the strings or drums. The hands are used as musical instruments too, by either clapping them together or against fathazi, goat skin turned inside out wrapped around the calf area, only used by men to create music and rhythm. For the last few decades, the guitar has been celebrated as a versatile music instrument for Swana music, as it offers a variety in string which the Sagamba instrument does not have. In the northern part of Botswana, women in the villages of Atsha and Gumere are noted for their skill at crafting baskets from mogola palm and local dyes. The baskets are generally woven into 3 types: large, lidded baskets used for storage, large, open baskets for carrying objects on the head or for winnowing threshed grain, and smaller plates for winnowing pounded grain. The cuisine of Botswana is unique and mostly includes meat, as Botswana is a cattle country. Examples of Botswana food are bogobe, pap, maize porridge, boerewors, samp, magwinya, fried dough bread, and mopane worms. Global rank, 100, life expectancy, 67.6, expected years of schooling, 12.6, mean years of schooling, 9.3, gross national income per capita, 15,534. We hope you enjoyed viewing these list of 5 countries in Africa with better economies to migrate. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like and comment on these content also, as we keep bringing you information beneficial to you for your next iconic destination.